Hello, Coach Trestman. How are you?
I'm doing great. Doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for being on.
Thank you so much for finally getting back to our letter. We really appreciate it.
Well, I was cleaning up my desk today, and the letter must have come to my house, and I just noticed it was the 27th, and it was, a great cause, Rock for Kids, and I thought I'd just call in and see if I could help in any way.
Yeah, it's perfect timing. I see you walking. I saw you in the summer walking your dog all the time. I had a jet ski I kept taking down to the beach. Always stopped by, drove by your house, and I always saw you. I'm like, perfect man to call. Marc Trestman, Chicago Bears coach living in Winnetka. Just a great person to call.
Well, I'm glad I could help out today.
Okay,
How's
so
it going?
doing really well. We have a few more hours of Radiothon left. We've raised around $3,000 today, so we're doing pretty well.
That's fantastic.
So we have a few questions to ask for you today. Hopefully
Sure.
you want to answer.
Okay, so Coach Trestman, prior to coaching the Bears, you coached the Montreal Alouettes and actually won the Grey Cup with them. How do you think that winning the Grey Cup with the Alouettes, how did it prepare you to come to the NFL?
Well, I had a couple of good things happen. I had spent 17 years in the NFL before I went up to Montreal, and certainly, when you step in the shoes of a head coach, it certainly helps to, see the world from that position, one that I hadn't during my time in the NFL. So, the two things were being able to leadership position from a head coaching position, and then, realizing that the players in every locker room are really the same. The guys we had in Montreal were the same kind of guys we have in Chicago, great guys, high character, want to master their craft, be the best they can be, and we had a great locker room up there, just like we have in Chicago here.
So this year was your first season as a head coach in the NFL. What were some of the goals you and Phil Emery set for the season?
Well, we really only have one goal, and that's, to put ourselves in a position to compete for a world championship. And, that didn't change, as we started last season. It won't now. And, we came up short, and certainly we're very, very disappointed. And we hope we have learned from that. We learned some lessons that we think can help us. And, we're not starting over this year. The journey continues from a year ago, and the guys are very excited about it.
Yeah, a lot of the time different coaches bring different philosophies to the table. We know you were more of an offensive coach than Lovie Smith. How did the players you had last year versus the players you're bringing forward this year, how is that going to affect your team?
Well, you don't go into it looking at the football team as a head coach, as an offense or defense or special teams coach. You look at it as being a head coach, and, you have a lot of different responsibilities to go with that. But, the most important thing is, to recognize each and every day that no one side of the ball can succeed without the other, that each and everybody on the team is interdependent on each other. And that's kind of the starting point of where we work, guys. I don't really look at myself as being an offense or defensive coach.
All right. So, Coach, the Bears offense had one of their best performances almost in history. What sort of offensive philosophies did you implement to create such a high-powered offense?
Well, we really don't have an offensive philosophy per se, other than we try to evaluate the talent that we have, and we try to have an offense that's flexible enough, a system that's flexible enough, to take advantage of our players' strengths and create the type of mismatches you need to win in the NFL. So, philosophically, it's really just what's the fastest and quickest way to score a touchdown. That's not always easy. Sometimes it takes a longer time, but what's how can we get in the end zone, and how can we utilize the guys we have and their skill set to do that? And that's really the offensive philosophy in a nutshell. At the end of the day, number one in offense is just take care of the football. If you do that and you play smart, you play disciplined football, you got a chance to be in the game in the fourth quarter. And really in the NFL, that's the goal, is to get to the fourth quarter and win in the fourth quarter. It's very hard to blow teams out and to be in a position where you're ahead so much in the fourth quarter that you just got to call plays. That seldom, if ever, happens on a week-to-week basis. So if you can, be in a position to win the game in the fourth, that's a pretty good sign that you're going to have a very good chance of winning it.
Yeah, Coach, and on the flip side, the defense struggled greatly this year, partly because of injuries to Tillman, Henry Melton, players like that. And going into your first NFL draft this year as a head coach, are you looking to target players like Darqueze Dennard, who can bring some young experience to that secondary?
Well, we're not. This is our second time around with Phil, and Phil does a great job, and our personnel department does a great job of evaluating the talent. your strategy is always to try to take care of the things that you need to take care of. But at the end of the day, when that pick comes up, that area you're looking at that player's got to significantly be better than other guys that you have on that board. You've got to take players that can make your football team and to get it better, and not just presently, but in the long haul. And that's just all part of the strategy. But certainly, we're still looking for defensive players, but that doesn't mean offensive players won't be out there.
Yeah, and Coach, as a player scout, would you be more interested in looking at players' performance throughout their college career or pro day and combine numbers?
Oh, I think you've got it's the whole process. Who am I talking to? Who's this?
This is Daniel, and the other one with the British accent is Blake.
I'm Blake Salmon.
Yeah, I figured. When I knew it was Daniel, I knew the other one was Blake because your letter came together.
Yep.
So to answer your question, Daniel, really, it's all really a story. It's a chronology of how they play in college. The talent that they play against is certainly important. How they played in stressful situations. Generally, combine. You really can't hurt yourself in the combine, in my opinion, as long as the numbers at your pro day and that scouts have taken over the 4 years, the information they've gathered. But it's really a story. We put all the information together. We talk about it and try to grade the players as consistently as we can.
So, Coach, fans this year were extremely vocal in their support for backup quarterback Josh McCown. How exactly did you deal with the decisions and just the, I guess some would call it the battle between, I guess it wasn't really a battle, but the situation with Jay Cutler and Josh and McCown?
Well, it was never even a situation that took any time. When Jay got hurt, I told him and the team that when Jay was ready to play, he would go back in and play. And Josh is a team guy, and he understood that. And the most important thing we did was we maintained a position that showed everybody that we were going to be consistent and we weren't going to make changes based on specific situations. So there really wasn't any kind of battle or any kind of inward or in the building decision there was made. As soon as Jay got hurt, the decision was made that he would continue to play when he got healthy.
Yeah, Coach, you have a good relationship with Jay Cutler. Does him living in Winnetka help that relationship?
Well, he moved, so we're farther apart now.
Oh, he moved.
He moved, so we got a little more space between us. But, we see each other every day, and we're constantly in communication with each other. And, when he goes home, he has time with his wife and family, and when I go home, I have my time with my family. So, we're not seeing each other socially during the course of the week, certainly.
So, Coach, you obviously communicate a lot with GM Phil Emery. You obviously feel very comfortable with him being the GM. What do you think about the decision to trade Devin Hester? Did you have a say in that? And Josh McCown?
Well, we're more interested in moving ahead. These are situations. That the NFL is an amazing place during the off season, and there's a lot of things that go into the movement of players. We're excited for Devin and his opportunity to reestablish him with Atlanta. We know he's going to do well, and certainly the same for Josh. We were excited for Josh's opportunity as a starter. He deserved that based on his play, and from our standpoint, we wished him well, and now we're on a moving forward, and that's really the way we approach it.
Yeah, Coach Trestman, you just talked about the off season. Describe some of the things that a coach has to do in the off season to prepare his team for the opening day.
That's a great question. It starts right after the season. We have to, we look inward first. We evaluate our coaches. We evaluate the players hard. I evaluate myself hard with the help of Phil, and we try to get better internally. That's number one. Number two is we begin to once we get our team organized to where we are, in the off season inwardly, then we look outward, and you can see, we've added quite a few players. We've added Monday to MD Jennings. We've added Willie Young. We've added Jared Allen, of course. We've added Lamar Houston and so forth. So we've tried to, Jordan Sen we've added from Carolina, a really good free agent, special teams acquisition and backup linebacker. So, we really feel like we've strengthened our football team, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, and put us in a great position to get ready for this draft. So it starts inward, and it goes to free agency, and then it goes to the draft, and then it's about bringing everybody together and developing relationships with everybody, getting close, and developing the locker room, which is so critical, and a value system for this year's team.
Yeah, Coach. Throughout the season, you seem to be getting more and more comfortable with the head coaching role. How did communicating with other head coaches in the NFL help you become a better coach this day?
Well, you're always going to get better. You hope you get better each and every week at what you do. I mean, comfort wasn't an issue. It's just, again, getting to know your team, particularly in the first year, and their strengths and weaknesses, and certainly, learned a lot from that, and certainly felt I could have done better along the way. And I think you have to grade yourself hard. I've got a lot of friends in the league that are head coaches, and when I get time, I talk to them, and we exchange ideas, whether it be at the Combine or in Mobile at the Senior Bowl or at the owners' meeting this year, which is down in Orlando. So anytime you get to exchange ideas, it's great. You realize how smart these guys are around the league. We have some tremendous head coaches in the National Football League. They're smart. They're really good people in it for the right reasons, and are solid character men as well as great coaches. So it's a great learning environment.
Coach, you just talked about having a great relationship with a lot of the coaches in the league. Is there a particular coach that you have an especially close bond with?
Well, I think that's a great question, because if you name one or two, you disrespect the others. But I feel like each and every year I get to know guys that I didn't know better, and each and every year, I have friends that we get closer because of it. And we have a chance to talk and exchange ideas. So I wouldn't want to point out any one individual guys. I hate singling out people, because it always leaves some people out. But at the end of the day, I enjoy the process of getting to know the guys in the league, and they all have tremendous strengths, and you try to learn from them.
Yeah, Coach, at the age we are now, 17, when you were 17, did you ever think you were going to become a head coach in the NFL?
No, I never even thought I was going to be a coach at 17. I was just trying to figure out how to graduate high school. No, I was just, I think that young men like yourselves are much farther along. I mean, what you're doing today is, tremendously honorable in terms of the work you're doing today and what you're giving up to help others. And I never had the frame of reference that you guys have, and I'm just privileged to be talking to you. When you do for others and you ask nothing in return, there's nothing more fulfilling, and you guys are doing that today. So I was 17-year-old, just kind of worried about myself, and it took me a long time to learn what you guys already know. So my hat's off to both of you and the people that you're working with today.
Thank you so much, Coach Trestman. Ben, before we let you go, do you mind just saying something for WNTH? Just saying this is Coach Trestman. You're listening to WNTH 88.1 FM in Winnetka.
Yeah, this is Marc Trestman, listening to WNTH 88.1 in Winnetka.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Okay, guys. All the best of luck to you. Glad I could help today.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.